The World Skeptics Congress, Paranormal, Supernatural, Fringe Science, Pseudoscience, and How It Really Is. Berlin welcomes you.
We now go on with Massimo Polidoro is going to introduce the next award, and this time we move on to the awards awarded by the European Council of Skeptical Organizations. So, Massimo.
Thank you. Well, the man that we are going to award next is sort of a Renaissance man. He does a lot of things. In his life, he's a chemist at the University of Pavia in Italy. But we've been friends for more than 20 years now, and we met because of skepticism. He's very shy when you meet him at first, but he's like, you know, when he has a target, a mystery, let's say, he doesn't stop until the mystery is solved. And he's put in his target quite some big mysteries, like the blood of Saint Januarius in Naples, the miracle supposed so, that liquefies, or the Shroud of Turin. He will tell you what he did with that. Nothing funny. He's also a CSI fellow, and speaking of lawsuits, he is no stranger, because both of us have been sued, and I think this is the first, probably in skepticism, by a fakir from India. Yeah, we wrote a book on the tricks of the fakirs, and one of those got very angry and sued us. So there's nothing missing from my very good friend Luigi Garlaschelli. In recognition of his dedication and outstanding contribution to promoting science and investigating extraordinary claims, to Luigi Garlaschelli.
Okay, thank you Massimo, and thank you everybody, or whoever decided to award me today. I've been told I have to give a very short presentation, so Massimo already told you almost everything you have to know. So it's an easy task for me, but okay, I am a chemist in my real life. The last series of research I've been doing is on benzimidazole polymers for proton conducting membranes for fuel cells, but I'm not going to talk about this tonight. I am a shy chemist, actually. This is my lab at the university, but I also have a secret identity as a skeptic. And I like to experiment things. I like to test myself what they claim. And I like hands-on investigations. And by doing this, I've been doing actually many funny and strange things that I would like to share with you a bit. For example, yes, as Massimo already anticipated, I am also a fakir. Here you can see I'm laying on a bed of nails. Here I'm eating fire. And then I learned how to eat glass or stop my heart, or hammering into my head a nail through the nostrils, or having a large rock crashed on my chest with a sledgehammer. And this is thanks to Basava Premanand, that you might remember. He died a couple of years ago. I met him in Saint Vincent nearly 20 years ago, and he gave me a small booklet where I learned many of these tricks that what's the point of this? Is to show that even if a small man like me can do these strange things, then there is nothing paranormal in them. And all you need is some, let's say, masochism sometimes. And also, we wrote a small booklet, Massimo and I, The Secrets of the Fakir, and we have been sued by a fakir in Italy. Only case. Then we have been forgiven. But I never saw the copyright from that book because we had to pay our lawyers. Well, also I produced and manufactured weeping statues. We have many of them in Italy, real weeping statues, but these are lab tricks. They can weep tears or blood. Now that we have color TV, so everybody likes to see plaster hair that suddenly blood tears appear out of nowhere, no holes, no chemicals, no electronics involved. It's a simple trick that I'm not going to explain to you. Go to my website and you will know everything, but we have cases and cases and again of weeping statues and so on. And also, yes, I became a miracle maker. This is one of the first investigations that I did for CICAP as a chemist. In Italy, we have this so-called miracle of Saint Januarius. It's supposedly the saint's blood that is clotted, and during a ceremony, it turns into a liquid before everybody's eyes. So this is a phenomenon that actually happens, but we think that it has nothing paranormal or miraculous. It might be a thixotropy property of gels that are solid and can be liquefied by simply shaking them or turning the relic case upside down, as it happens during the ceremony. So it's a self-working trick that doesn't depend on the consciousness of the bishop who is performing the rite, but we have reproduced. This doesn't mean that, of course, we have guessed what exactly the sealed vial contains, but it's a hint that maybe it's a natural phenomenon and not a miraculous one. And this is not the only miracles that I have investigated. Well, there was another miraculous blood, and that turned out to be a mixture that is solid when the temperature is below 30 degrees Celsius, and it's liquid during the summer. So we have chilled the vial of this miraculous blood with ice and water, and we have solidified the blood that was liquid in that moment, and then we have changed the water beaker around the vial. We have heated the water with a hair dryer, and when the temperature was again at 30 degrees, the blood liquefied again, showing very clearly that it is a temperature-related phenomenon, and again, not a miracle. Then also, I became a stigmatic. We have many stigmatics in Italy. The most famous was Padre Pio, or Saint Pio now, the friar with stigmata, you know. So sometimes I have fun during TV shows or programs showing how you can fake stigmata, because if you are not aware that stigmata can be faked, then you can be fooled. So in the first photograph, I made my own stigmata by scratching my skin with a needle, and these are the Padre Pio style stigmata. And in the second photographs, I applied onto my skin some caustic soda, and the stigmata will appear only after a few hours out of nowhere. There is nothing on your skin, and then suddenly you have those red signs, a crust, and unfortunately in that particular occasion I have used too much a concentrated solution of caustic soda, and now I have a permanent scar on my wrist, but I'm showing this scar with pride because, well, this is just one of the many psychics that we have tested. This in particular is a water dowser, water divining. We have now a water divining kit in our headquarters, 4 rubber tubing, in one of which water can flow or not, and the diviner with the dowsing rods has to guess in what of the 4 tubes water is running. We repeat the test some 20 times, and we always get no evidence of paranormal divining, completely random results. But this is just routine. I like this one. Massimo Polidoro and I have spent a couple of nights in a cemetery in my town, Pavia, trying to catch a will-o'-the-wisp. You know, those feeble lights that might be seen where you have rotting organic material, and of course in a cemetery you have a lot of decomposing organic materials at various stages of ripeness. And why we do this? Well, because no one has ever analyzed, chemically analyzed a will-o'-the-wisp or reproduced a will-o'-the-wisp in a lab. So this strange equipment is a will-o'-the-wisp aspirator. There is a battery pump that sucks up the air, and there is a washing bottle where you can trap the gases produced by the will-o'-the-wisp. And this is a long probe, and so you go around among the graves and hoping to catch a will-o'-the-wisp. We couldn't catch a real will-o'-the-wisp. I have tried to reproduce it in my lab and with some success. But, well, I mean, this is a real Ghostbuster, okay? And, reproducing will-o'-the-wisp in a lab can be dangerous. One of the hypotheses is that will-o'-the-wisp, the feeble light of the will-o'-the-wisp is due to the presence of phosphine, which can give out chemiluminescence. But phosphine is a poisonous and self-igniting gas, and I have generated phosphine in the lab using different chemicals, and just a few days ago I had a can containing calcium phosphide that I had used to generate phosphine in the lab, and it was not in my lab at the university, but in my secret lab, my bat cave, where I do other strange experiments in my home. And this can self-ignited, and I ran the risk of burning my own house, especially because just around that can I had a can with aluminum powder, a can of black powder, a can of red phosphorus, and a jar with potassium cyanide. So I might not have been here, but fortunately it was only a small fire and with no harms done. Okay, but hunting season is still open. Yeah, this is a sword in stone. We have the only real sword in stone in Italy, in Tuscany. It's a real sword from the 12th century. It was a sword of Saint Galgano, who was a knight, then he became a hermit, giving up wars and violence and sticking his sword into the ground. The sword is possibly authentic and is not a miracle, but the problem here is that there are strangest similarities between Saint Galgano's history or legend and some episodes of the Arthurian saga legends. However, with all the permissions that were necessary, I could pull out the sword from the stone. This is the sword that I have pulled out. I didn't break it, it was already broken, and the rest of the blade is still there. So this is not really a paranormal mystery, but, well, if you have a sword in the stone and you are allowed to pull it out, you do. And they didn't give me a kingdom. Nothing at all. Not even a small apartment and efficiency, nothing. Well, this was a homeopathy tests on chickens at the University of Parma, and the claim was that calcium carbonate or homeopathically diluted was good for chickens' bones. So we gave this homeopathic solution to, I don't remember, 150 chickens, and then we analyzed all of them with a scan, tomography, in a huge instrument, a frozen chicken, and out, because we wanted to see the situation of the bone here, of the stern, in the chest, and no results at all. Absolutely no results. But it was fun. This, again, is the mysterious anti-gravity hills, or anti-gravity streets or roads. These are uphills, stretches of road where things roll in the opposite direction to the gravity, and we have several in Italy as well as around the world. We have studied and measured this situation. Of course, it's an optical illusion occurring in a natural environment. Generally, optical illusions are strange shapes printed on a cardboard. No, this is in a valley and in a natural set, and it's very compelling. We could determine what causes this illusion, and we could reproduce it in the lab with a big tabletop model with roads at different inclinations. So a very long investigation that took years, and then there was a PhD dissertation at the University of Padua, and then we wrote this paper, and so case closed. Our last thing was the reproduction of the Shroud of Turin. You know that the Shroud of Turin is one of the most controversial relics or icon or object or images, depending on how you judge it, but it is claimed that the Shroud of Turin has properties that cannot be understood, cannot be reproduced, you don't know how the image had been generated. So I have followed simply a suggestion by John Nickel that wrote about this hypothesis in his famous book more than 20 years ago. The only thing is that I succeeded in reproducing a life-size Shroud of Turin, 4.5 meters long, with all the properties that were claimed until now to be impossible to reproduce, and therefore negativity, superficiality, 3D information of the image, no pigment applied, but simply a discoloration of the top fibers of the threads, and so on. On the left, you can see the negative photograph of the Turing shroud. On the right side, there is my reproduction. Not bad. Could be improved. I'm still working on that. I had a lot of hate mails after this experiment, and I remember one of them said, "What do you think you have done? I would slap you in the face. And you look like a jerk with that pipe in your mouth in your website. What would your mother say?" Well, my mother, may she rest in peace, once told me, "Well, Gigi, I can understand you don't believe in God, but maybe an atheist, it's not good." However, okay, this is the end of this small talk. I am also an author. Massimo Polidoro wrote some 35, 40 books, so I think Massimo deserved this award more than I did. But, well, if they give you an award, just take it. And by the way, Massimo, where is Massimo? There is no money involved. No, too bad. Okay. My investigations are to be continued. This is representation of the crazy scientist in his lab. What will be my next experiment? Well, I can just anticipate that we have resurrected a chicken. Well, not really, but we had it moving by applying some electric electrodes, and it moved the limbs, the mouth, and the wings. So wait until I will resurrect a man, and then maybe myself, and then that would be something. Okay, thank you very much again.
The World Skeptics Congress, Paranormal, Supernatural, Fringe Science, Pseudoscience, and How It Really Is.
We're skeptically interrogating